Today we're going to be talking about some of the most common quarterback throwing mechanics myths. Now, the first myth I want to go over today is having to step with your front foot and open your toes directly at the target. When you look at all the top passers in the game, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, when they all step with their front foot, if the target is the camera right now, when they step, their front foot is slightly to the right of the target because that helps them with stability, that helps them with front side discipline, and nobody, guys, needs to step and open up their toe to be able to get their hips to fully rotate through. So let me explain, because I know a lot of you guys have probably been taught this before, but think about it, guys. If you're here and your front foot steps and it's slightly to the right, I could still get as much hip rotation as I would if my toe was straight open. Just the only thing is I'm more stable when my front foot is slightly to the right of the target. So it's about stability and discipline with your front side. So what a lot of guys will do is that when they start to throw, because they're so concerned with opening up this toe, they will open up the toe and their shoulders, their hips, they will all rotate through, but this front foot has no stability, so it will swing out, their hips and shoulders will rip open, and their arm almost ends up going across their body, causing them to miss left to right. So guys, if you step just slightly to the right of the target, one, that front stride can get down faster, and we know a quick front stride will quicken up your release, but when you rotate through, you can stay more stable, keep your hips and your shoulders parallel to the target, so we could just snap my release, finish through, and be more accurate. So guys, you do not have to open up and point your toes at the target. Now, obviously, fellas, the quarterback position is much more than just throwing the ball, throwing mechanics, arm strength. You need to be able to read defenses and have a high football IQ. So if you guys want to get better at reading defenses, check out that very first link in the description below. You can get access to over 500 videos that I myself have made breaking down how quarterbacks should read defense. We talk about the best plays, weaknesses of each coverages, how you guys can identify coverages. We break down college, NFL, high school film, the works. So guys, if you want to improve your football IQ, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Now, the second quarterback throwing myth that I want to go over is having to hold the ball high up by your ear or on the shelf to make sure that your elbow gets up in your motion. Now, this is something that a lot of old school coaches would teach, that quarterbacks will hold the ball low and they go to throw and they'll say, oh, well, your elbow's dipping because you're not holding the ball up high enough. So you should hold the ball up here, high elbow, and just come straight over the top. Now, that's going to cause a whole bunch of problems for you. Let me explain. So when you guys, you look at any top NFL quarterback that's a passer, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, not a single one of them, not a single quarterback in the NFL holds the ball up here by their ear. And everybody will say, oh, well, Peyton Manning held the ball up high. No, he didn't. He held the ball probably right around here, and both of his elbows were relaxed. He did not have this super tense traps, tense elbow, tense shoulder, because guys, when you're tense up top, that is going to take away range of motion with your upper half. As a quarterback, how I'm able to generate power is from something called hip and shoulder dissociation. So when I go to throw and I take a step to the target with my front foot, I don't want my shoulders to open up. I want my shoulders and my weight to stay back. My shoulders are going this way as my front foot is down. So now when I'm in this position, my hips fire through, my core fires through before my shoulder, before my elbow, and that creates a whip. When you are tense up top, holding the ball super high like this, you physically can't rotate your shoulders. So what ends up happening is that you step to the target, your front shoulder comes open, hips and shoulders are rotating at the same time, and you're throwing this thing all arm, putting a ton of pressure on your elbow and on your shoulder. So you're thinking, oh, well, I'm holding the ball up high, I have my elbow up high. Yeah, you might get your elbow up, but that's not going to do you any good. It's actually going to damage your elbow and damage your shoulder. So we want to be relaxed with my carriage here in the middle of my chest, slightly on my right pec, but you want to be in a position called opposite equal. That means your left hand, your right arm, or right hand, left hand, they're both opposite, but they're both equal. You're not like this, you're not like this, we're opposite and equal. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, coach, I have a problem dipping my elbow. What's the issue? Your rotator cuff is probably weak. That's 99% of the time why quarterbacks have that elbow dip problem or a low elbow when they throw, low release point, is because they lack rotator cuff strength. Guys, when you go back in the throw, we almost want to get to this position. It's called the opposite L. Doesn't need to be a perfect L, but somewhere here. Guys who have a weak rotator cuff physically can't go from this position up to the 90-degree angle. They will go here, and when they rotate through, the ball will be here because their rotator cuff cannot support the ball in their motion. So guys, if you want to stop having that elbow dip problem, look up rotator cuff exercise. Post in the comments below, just say, hey, I want the rotator cuff or shoulder warm-up routine exercise, and I'll send you over a warm-up routine that will strengthen your rotator cuff so you could hold the ball low, be relaxed, generate power, but also have the strength to get your elbow up in a normal classic release. Now, the next quarterback myth that I want to go over is having to push off of your back foot to create the front stride for power, guys. So we just talked about it in the last clip, fellas, that power comes from what? It comes from dissociation, right? Me separating my upper body from my lower body when I throw. When I take a stride to the target, I want my weight to stay back. I want my back shin to stay straight. I want my head to stay even with my knee and my foot. I call it being stacked. So my shoulders can rotate back, so my hips can fire through before my shoulders do it, and that creates a whipping effect, aka torque, and that's how I get velocity. Now, a lot of old school quarterback coaches would teach, oh, get in a base like this, and you want to push off the middle arch of your foot to create power. But the problem is that when you push, I'm not saying to not push, but when you push the same time your front foot gets down, all of your body weight will shift forward. It's physically impossible to push while keeping your weight back. So when you push, front foot gets down, your body weight shifted forward. Guess what I can't do now? I can't separate my shoulders. So when I go to throw, I'm way out ahead of myself. My back hip, my back leg are disengaged, and that puts a ton of pressure on my elbow and my shoulder. A lot of people say, oh, get more power, push from your legs. That's actually going to give you might give you power, but long term, that's going to injure your elbow, injure your shoulder. You're going to have a lot of problems with accuracy on your throws because you're not engaging your back hip and your back leg. So guys, we want to push after the stride. You should be thinking the front stride is separate from the back leg drive. So I'm in the pocket, I'm throwing right here. I step to the target, nothing moves. When the foot is down, then I could push all day long because my weight is on time. My hip rotation, my leg drive is happening after the foot strike and before the shoulders because I kept my weight back, hips fire through, and when that can fire through before this, that's how I get my power, not pushing for power. Now also guys, if you are a quarterback, we are coming out to 9 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So check out that second link in the description below if you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this year. We are going to be coming out to Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, Los Angeles, California to finish it off. So guys, second link in that description below if you'd like to attend. You're local to one of those cities. Most of our camps are completely sold out, but we have remaining spots in our last 3 camps, so we hope we can see you there. Again, very second link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, the next quarterback myth that I want to talk about is not so much throwing mechanics based, it kind of is, but it's a myth that you need to take a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop on every single drop. So a lot of older school quarterback coaches, and again, now a lot of teams do take a 3-step and do take a 5-step. So I'm not trying to say never do a 3-step and 5-step because it definitely applies, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So it doesn't always have to be just your traditional 3-step drop, hitch up. There's new footwork that you see so many different college programs do, so many different NFL quarterbacks do, and that is the shuffle footwork, or maybe even the older school, I guess now it's like newer school, back pedal drop. So let's talk about it. Every single college program, you guys, it's hard to find a college program that doesn't do this now, does the shuffle footwork. So it's good to work both. It's the whole reason why I bring this up is because you got to be able to drop both ways. You never know what the system that you're going to get into, the coach that you're going to play for is going to ask of you, so you got to work different things. With the quarterbacks I train, we work a lot of 3-step, 5-step, but we also work shuffle drops, back pedal drops, everything. So what's a shuffle drop? So for example, let's say I'm throwing like a quick seam from my slot receiver. Traditional offense, I'd take a 3-step drop, hit my 3rd step and throw. In shuffle footwork, you might just go shuffle, throw. You might go shuffle, hitch up and throw, but the reason why I love that shuffle drop is because when you shuffle, you're already in your base. You're never crossed over out of your base and you're in a position ready to throw at all times. Now, a lot of guys like to work a back pedal drop. What's a back pedal drop? Let's say, for example, I'm working a passing concept on the right, I'm reading the flat defender, whatever it is. I do this back pedal drop so I could see the full field and I could set my feet up on a dime to whichever route that I have to throw. So I don't personally teach the back pedal drop. We work it every now and then if guys want to work it, but the shuffle drop, the 3-step, the 5-step, those are all things that you need to incorporate in your off-season training so you're prepared for whatever offense you may get.